So we're in the fall now, and often our Zen tradition is very seasonally oriented. If you're in a monastery in Japan or wherever, you're going to be the food at the monastery is going to be very much in line with what's available and what makes sense in the fall. And just practice-wise, two things that we really focus on in the fall, and also in general, but especially in the fall, are like cultivating a sense of grounding and also letting go. And it goes very much with the season. If you think about it, the trees, the plants, nature is really sending its roots like deeper and deeper into the earth, like getting ready for the colder weather, getting ready for the rain, getting ready for the colder weather. So there's this sense of grounding, and that's what we do too. That's what we want to do in our practice and just in our life. This sense of looking after this sense of grounding. And then, of course, that quality of like letting go as well. So as far as the grounding aspect of things, we often in Zen, we talk about what's called the hara. The hara is the belly, the abdomen. So we're really looking at tending to the belly, allowing things to build, to gather in the belly. There's a relatively new branch of science called neurogastroenterology, which explores the enteric nervous system, or the ENS. This is sometimes called the brain in the gut. As an embryo grows, the brain, the nervous system, and the ENS all develop from one clump of tissue called the neural crest. The ENS nerve cells are found in the tissue lining your esophagus, your stomach, your intestines, and your colon. The researcher, Dr. Michael Gershon, says this brain-like system has more than 100 million nerve cells in the small intestine alone. The small intestine is essentially that. It's framed by the large intestine, so that's the hara, that's the belly. Roughly equal to the number of nerve cells in the spinal cord. So this gut brain is also a comprehensive chemical warehouse containing every one of the classes of neurotransmitter found in the brain. So as a second brain, it can send and receive neurochemical impulses, respond to emotions, and record experiences to be stored as memories. All of these complex neural and neurochemical connections make it possible for us to have what we call gut feelings. In contrast to the head brain, the kind of knowing of the gut brain, or the hara, is all-embracing. As we develop the hara, we bring about groundedness and steadiness, but we also develop this intuitive knowing. And in addition, we have a far more energized life. So the hara is really associated with energy, with longevity, with health. It's good for our health and our well-being, as well as for our spiritual unfolding. And then there's more than that. The hara also has an important role in dealing with negative emotions, so-called negative emotions or difficult emotions. We tend to deal with such emotions in two ways. We may try to pretend that they don't exist by suppressing them. Alternatively, we may act out the emotion in one way or another. Neither way is all that helpful or healthy. We need a third way. A powerful method is to simply provide a space for these so-called negative emotions to come and go into during your meditation time. The hara is such a space. Here the feelings can come and go. They're not squashed, so they're not suppressed, nor are they allowed to cause havoc. They're simply observed and accepted. Suppose you are in a room with a very frightened puppy. If you tried to chase it around and grab and control it, you would only make it more frightened. If you were to walk out of the room and slam the door, it would become more agitated. But if you just sit quietly in the room and do nothing, the puppy will gradually settle and come and make friends with you. Its fear will melt away. We do the same thing with difficult aspects of ourselves. When you encounter fear or anger or any other aspect of yourself that causes you pain, simply give it space. Allow the feelings to be loved without pushing them away or running from them. This space or presence is what kindness really is. Negative emotions will heal wherever compassion is present. The hara, as it develops and becomes a conscious part of your being, is an arena where this healing can happen. So we've got this intuitive knowing. So there's a lot to the hara, and we've got this sense of like grounding, of filling up the hara that we can do. Just simply being down in the belly, just simply putting your attention down in the belly allows things to build and to grow here. So energy follows your mind. So just in your meditation practice, when you're just being with your breathing and with your hara, it's like that area begins to come alive. It begins to fill. It begins to become your center of gravity more and more. So this sense of grounding we can lean into simply by being down in the belly and breathing down in the belly, or working with your koan down in your belly, or whatever your practice is, just being down in the belly. And again, the hara is like a space where things can come and go in it. Anything can just come and go down in the hara. And so there's this sense also of this like intuition that we become able to connect with more and more along the way. It goes along with that sense of like energy being down there and getting familiar with the belly and embracing it. This sense of just like a sense of knowing or intuition or gut feelings comes more and more online for us. So it's something that just comes with this hara as it comes alive. And of course, when we talk about in Zen, we use like with Kensho, the kind of the word for knowing your true nature, or knowing your true nature. This as well is often talked about in terms of like a knowing. There's a quality, there's like a deep, like a recognition of the way things really are, or like what your true nature really is, like what you're really made from, who you are. So this sense of just being with the grounding, looking after the grounding, the belly, not only does it have the well-being aspect of things going on, and this intuition and this energy building, but there's also like this spiritual unfoldment that happens the more we're staying in this one place. Zen Master Hakuin, he talks a little bit about the hara. He says, the main secret of nourishing life and achieving longevity is training the body. The main secret of training the body is to concentrate the mind in the tanden, within the kikai below the navel. So the tanden is like the point at the very center of your hara. It's like the epicenter of the belly. It's your true center. Typically, for most people, it's about 3 fingers width below the navel, and it's at the center line of the body. So he says, put your attention down in the tanden. If the mind is focused there, energy concentrates in that place. If the energy is concentrated, the elixir of life is made. When the elixir of life is made, the body becomes firm. When the body becomes firm, the life force is complete. If the life force is complete, we achieve longevity. It's important to only concentrate. Again, he's talking about just allowing things to fill the tanden down in the hara. He says, dear friends, if you truly practice this without neglect, you will not only cure any health problems, but you will also finally find an excellent solution to your long-lasting spiritual block. So he's kind of tying that aspect of, he talks about holding the koan down in the belly, down in the hara, down in the tanden. So we've got this quality of like grounding in the fall, and then we've also got this sense of like letting go. So we can let stuff arise and pass down in the belly. When you're meditating, when you're just being present, when you're coming back to yourself, we're letting things flow through. It's easy to want to think that something that comes up is very fixed and very solid, whether it's a sensation, whether it's a memory, whether it's a story about myself, whether it's a feeling, whether it's a thought, whatever it might be. It's easy to think that that's something that's very solid and true and real. But actually, that stuff is constantly changing. It's always flowing through us. And our practice is just such a wonderful arena to allow like life to flow through us, to just allow things moment by moment to arise and pass. And the more we get used to doing that, the more we like stop reaching and grabbing and trying to hold things down, trying to control life, the more that quality of arising and passing, that familiarity with ourselves not as a solid, fixed, separate thing, but actually as like a flowing process, we start to know that more and more intimately in our actual direct experience. We can read a lot of books about this stuff, but ultimately it's the practice that really allows us to know the way like that reality is change. And like we can see that and we can know that very deeply through our practice in a way that reading about it can never touch. Like we're never going to get it intellectually. That's just that's kind of with the mind. But through the experience of our practice, we're really able to let things come and go and to see ourselves in this more true, wiser way. So when we're letting things go, we're also letting things come. So we're letting go, we're letting come. We're almost like a pipe. It's like letting life flow through us. So we're not bracing against life, and at the same time, we're not holding on to it too much. We're allowing life to happen through us, and it's coming and it's going. The fall time, especially, is often seen in Zen as being the time of the lungs. With your lungs, if you can inhale, it means you can take life in. If you can exhale, it means you can let go. If we're having trouble exhaling, there's like a clenching going on. It's like we're kind of stuck in something. Often sadness and grief can be associated with the lungs. We can really hold on to some kind of a grief. And the more we're able to be there with it and to exhale, that allows us to let go. And if we can't inhale, there's something going on there where we're holding our breath, or it's like we can't quite take in what's happening in this moment. So, but when we're able to inhale, we can take life in, and when we can exhale, we can let life go. So that allows, it keeps things flowing. We don't get blocked up. So we want to be able to do both. So in your practice, in the fall season, and just always really, this ability to be grounded, to connect down with the belly, with the hara, to be down here, and also this capacity that we're deepening day by day in terms of like letting things go, letting things flow. So those are a couple of things that really come into the foreground in the fall season for us in our practice.